There's so many franchises that operate in your area. There's also independent home care agencies. Should you evaluate, as a family, what advice do you have for families to think about how to choose the right one for your loved one? I'm Camilo Lopez. I'm the founder of KeenCompanions, which is a platform that helps seniors and their families walk through the journey of aging at home. Today we have Judi, who is the founder of Valiant Home Care Professionals, which is a home care agency. And welcome, Judi.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yes. Now, one of the reasons why we have people like Judi is to help provide resources and education for those who are going through this journey with their parents and who didn't prepare for this and they need as many resources and help as they can. So that's what we're trying to do. And today we're talking about home care and what they do, how they can help you, and it's exciting. My mom, she is 77. She has signs of early dementia, but that really triggered me start thinking about, okay, I need to start planning. So that's key. So, Judi, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes.
A little nervous.
It's all right. So tell us a little bit more about Valiant and what you do and how the general purpose and the genesis of the agency.
Sure. So Valiant Home Care Professionals actually is a subsidiary of Valiant Staffing. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started with them in 2020. Valiant Staffing is an employment services agency. And we do recruitment. So we do talent acquisition, recruitment, headhunting, mostly in the light industrial industry, which is like warehousing, forklift operators, construction, those types of blue-collar jobs.
So are these temp jobs?
Yes. So they are temporary to hire.
Okay.
If they get the opportunity to be hired on, and then the headhunting is just a direct placement piece, so that's a little bit separate. There's no billable hours or anything. We just send an invoice, but. Then we thought, well, let's break off a division into healthcare. How are we going to infiltrate the healthcare industry? What do we want to do with that? Do we want to have nurses, occupational therapists, doctors who are transitional and place them with hospitals, or what does that look like? And we decided on in-home health. There's a huge need for it.
Yes.
I think our aging population now is the baby boomers. So we all know there was a lot of people during that time that were born, and there's a huge generation of baby boomers that are now getting to the ages of like 80, 85, 90, and over the next 10, 15 years it's going to continue. They're going to continue to get into those age groups where they are really wanting to stay home. They want to age at home.
They want to age at home, and one of the big things that we're going to prepare is our parents, they seem to be okay, but then once they start deteriorating in terms of abilities, cognitive decline kicks in, it's fast. And then the needs for additional services that you didn't expect, they come to you in a rush. So it's just important to know what tools you have there to start here. Okay, so you guys decided to
go into in-home healthcare.
And so what are the general services you provide? How do you help families?
So we provide non-medical in-home care, which means personal care, companionship, respite care. We are locally owned and operated. We are not a franchise. So we're very local and small business to Colorado.
How is that? Is the service different from locally owned versus a national franchise?
I don't think, because it's license-based, so we are licensed, and even a franchise has to be licensed. So it's a Class B, which is non-medical, Class A, which is skilled.
Okay.
And in Class B, there's just Colorado Code of Regulations. There's a state, federal regulations and compliance that every agency who's operating with a license, and hopefully they're all operating with a license, that we have to adhere to. So I don't think there's a difference there. Now, level of service, quality of caregivers, additional added value options or amenities or services can be provided that might be different from competitor to competitor or agency to agency. But overall, we're all under the same guidelines and laws.
And just an important tool for our audience, if you're looking into assessing a home care agency, you can go to the Colorado Department of Health, and they have records of any agency, if they have any complaints or anything, so you can check for any flags that they might have.
That too. I think you can check under OIG also, in any facility business person, if they're coming up not able to work with any kind of be allowed in a hospital setting or in a medical clinic setting because of something that's in their record. It's not 100% accurate though, I will warn you against that. There's some literature out there that kind of implies that maybe it's not completely 100% accurate, there's some false positives there, that kind of stuff, but overall it's a pretty good screening tool and I use it on every single one of my caregivers. So.
Nice. Okay, so let's go into what are the most common needs for seniors. I think the diversity of people and their needs, from mental support to all the way when they start losing ability and capabilities, ranges wildly. So what's the most common, and also what's the age range that you serve that you see most common as well?
The ages are right now around 70 up to 104.
Oh wow! You have an 104th.
Yes.
Amazing. That's
not
awesome.
to violate any HIPAA. Not going to tell you who it is, but yes. So now the 100 over 98 is not very common. So we're pretty much in like the 70 to 89, getting into the 90s. And I mean, I get quite a few referrals for 96, 95, 94, somewhere in there. I mean, we're living longer now. Science and technology is allowing us to live longer. I think they're predicting that at some point we're going to be living to 135 or 150.
Okay.
I don't know. I probably will not be here when that happens because I don't think I'm going to live that long.
So this population in their 70s, 80s, what are the most common needs that they call you for?
So mobility, they're having a hard time getting around. There's some limitation, whether it was due to an injury or if it's just getting older, arthritis, whatever that situation is per person. Managing the medications becomes a little tougher. They're forgetting to take them.
Yes, my mom, that's the case for my mom right now. She forgets her vitamins or medicine. I call her and she tells me, oh yes, I took it. And then when I go see her, I see all the pills in her pill case.
Right.
And the pill case is designed with each day of the week so they know what they have taken or not. And that doesn't help as much as I thought it would.
No, because someone has to remind them to take
Yes.
it. So that's one thing that in-home caregivers do is we remind them to take those medications when we know when we're supposed to, based on the family telling us during the plan of care, and we can push the button, we can push it open, and we can say, okay, it's time for you to take your medication, and we watch them take it.
Oh, you cannot hand it to them.
We are not licensed to administer medication.
Okay, good
so
to know.
That's the difference between medical and non-medical, is we can remind them, we can open the container of the pill boxes. We can't open a container bottle. So if it has a prescription on the bottle, we cannot open that bottle. We really can't even handle the bottle. They have to be able to go get it. Now some people have dexterity issues and they can't get their fingers into the pill thing. So we've kind of got to work around where we take like a plate, a small plate, and we pour it onto the plate, and then they can usually get it from the plate themselves, and just so it's not so tiny of a little box. They have more space to figure out how to get it. Okay. And then give them the water or whatever they take it with. We can do that, and just make sure that they've taken them. So a big part of that is watchful oversight, and if they start choking or something like that, then we're there to be providing some EMT services, right? But also, they forget to eat, or they don't want to cook anymore. I cannot tell you how many aging, older adults don't want to cook. They're just done. They're like, I've cooked my whole life. I cooked for my family, my kids. I don't want to cook. So they'll do like microwave meals meals, or they'll do something
which
really,
are not the most nutritious
no,
either,
it's
right?
unfortunate. And I always kind of like, so we want to cook meals for them. If we're able to and the family wants us to, we can go get the groceries, or they can have groceries delivered. Then we can cook those meals, and we can make a few of them in meal prep, so they can just heat up really good food in the microwave versus a Hungry Jack or Hungry Man meal.
Fast food, terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have mobility, we have help with medication, meals.
And the last one I would say is household chores. The house starts getting behind. They're not able to clean those floors as easily in the bathroom and the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder for them to vacuum. The stairs, if there's carpet, they're having a hard time getting those stairs cleaned.
Yeah.
Sometimes even changing the bed is tough for them by themselves. So we can do all of those things.
It's hard for me to change
I
the
know.
bed.
I have a king size bed, so I always feel like,
and it's always easier between two people. So
It
imagine one person and with lack of mobility.
Functional limitations, yeah.
Okay, so walk us through like a typical day on one of your employees helping a senior. What is a typical day?
Well, first we engage with them. I mean, we have a badge, we identify ourselves. They may remember us, they may not. After repeated visits, they usually remember our face, but they still may not remember our name. But yeah, we engage, we say how they are, see how they're feeling that day, how's it going, and then we start digging into our plan of care, which is any job tasks that need to be done that day. But we also want to encourage our client to do what they normally do, what their routine is, and not take them out of that. So we're not there to do everything for them. We're there to assist and be watchful and engage and have a relationship with them, and only interject when absolutely necessary. Because they want to maintain their independence. They want, and actually getting up and going to the kitchen and doing dishes, or that might be their only exercise for that whole day. It's just when they're moving around within their
That's a good point. So for my mom, she lives a couple blocks from my house, and it's easy for me to go pick her up. But I tell her, Mom, come over here, help me clean the house. And it's the right way to encourage them to exercise with a purpose. So how do families try to find this balance of promoting independence and providing support?
I think that having the support from us is part of that process. So in other words, the reason families should consider and have an option for in-home healthcare is so that they can stay independent, so that they can stay home. Because we're there for watchful oversight. We're there to give peace of mind. It's an investment, right? It's an investment into safety, into allowing your clients to keep their dignity, and to, have a peace of mind for the family too, that someone's there, right? Everyone can't be everywhere at once. People have jobs, people have families of their own. They want to be with their loved ones, but they have other responsibilities as well. There's a gap. There's a gap of time of the day that they can't be there. There's a gap between things are getting a little bit harder at home, and we're noticing things are not getting done, and mom's slowing down, and her mobility is an issue, but we're not ready for assisted living. We don't even want to go there. So what do we do in the meantime to fill that gap, right? That's where we come in.
Now, and also you're trained to, or your staff is trained to learn how to encourage that independence and not do everything for them.
So how do I say it? It's not like we're encouraging them to go do this, go jump over there, and go, you can get over that hump, Sally. No, we don't do those types of things. We just really just want to see what their routine is, keep them in their routine, make sure that they're not feeling like we're there to do everything for them, unless that's what their functional limitations require.
Yeah.
But if they're really, and we do get a lot of people that are very independent still. They still do a lot. They're still driving.
Should they be driving?
Yeah, I mean, but the family kind of says, hey, if you want to drive, that's fine, and sometimes the clients, like, yep, that's fine. If you want to drive, I'm fine with that. But yeah, it was not for us to really say. I guess if we see something in the moment when we're driving with them, we will definitely say something to the family about it.
Yeah,
because we don't want them to be unsafe.
So just to recap, basically some of the most common needs that many of these seniors see fall under 4 categories. Mobility, so inability to walk, take a shower, cook their own meals. Assisting with medication. You cannot provide the medicine, but you can assist them in direct them for them to take it. In terms of food, for your staff to help them either cook good, nourishing meals and avoid fast food restaurants. And then the 4th one is with household chores or cleaning the house to maintain a nice and healthy and a good environment that builds you up. If you live in a dirty house, I'm sure that's discouraging and probably depressing.
I think there is some mental, psychological science out there, evidence and articles about cluttered spaces and how it increases anxiety or depression, whether they're consciously aware of it or not.
I believe it.
Yeah, I do too. But it also helps with loneliness, isolation. So having home care come in, because I've had people who call and they're like, my mom just doesn't interact with anybody. She doesn't go out anymore. She just stays home. I want somebody to just kind of visit with her because I don't want her to be lonely.
Yeah.
And it's important that we do that because loneliness and depression, it can add to cognitive decline.
Yes, and these are some pretty alarming statistics. So loneliness is a pandemic in our society for young people, but especially for seniors as well. Imagine, your parents been together, one of them passes away, then the other person is home alone without a companion that have lived with them for many decades. That's a significant impact. Then the addition of lack of mobility and ability to go to social spaces increases that lack of engagement in society. And isolation.
So senior, their world starts to get very small. It starts to shrink because they're not driving anymore, maybe, and they're not doing pickleball anymore because their body's not letting them do that anymore. Their functional limitations are keeping them from doing the things that they used to really love to do. And it causes some depression, and we don't want that. And so caregivers too, I think the companionship piece is just as important as the personal care piece. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And so based on that, so you try to keep the same staff with the same family as long as you can and as much as you can.
As much as humanly possible, right? Because people have lives, they move, they have jobs that change with their spouses and they have to move, and it's really hard though. We don't want to get too attached. We don't want our clients to get too attached, but this is a people-to-people business, and so industry, and so it's hard. You're going to develop a relationship. Professional, but there is going to be some relation there, and we're always trying to be an extension of the family, right? We're not just there to just do a bunch of tasks and then be on our cell phone all the time. That's not the caregiver that I employ. I employ the caregiver who actually cares, has the patience, the willingness to continue to learn and engage. They love to engage with the client, whether that's through playing games or doing puzzles, whatever the client likes to do. It could be walking, could be watching a favorite program. I love to do poetry with my clients. I think it's so much fun. And we have a blast. We just sit there and laugh and laugh and laugh because I have a book that has the sentence. It starts with this, whatever you want to start with, and then you fill in the blank on the word that you want to add. And so we think about what words we want to add there, and then we read it back, and it's hilarious.
That's awesome.
It's really, a lot of fun, and it really they're laughing, which is great for mood. It enhances their mood. They're engaging their mind because they're having to think of words or think of an adjective, a noun, a verb, right? And it's just an interaction between the caregiver and the client.
And peels them off from the TV, right? So it's when somebody's there that wants to talk to you, you can't turn off the TV and stop watching the shows. Many of these people just in front of the TV for hours, and that's no good for your mind either.
No, but what it's going to be later is going to be in front of their cell phones. They're going to be like this on their phone. You know, like,
Yes.
you know, the younger generation is going to age. That's what they're going to do on the phone. They don't watch television. They watch YouTube on their phone.
And that fries your brain.
Yeah.
So you brought a good point in terms of hiring. Like, you know, so how do you identify good quality caregivers in your hiring process?
Well, I think I'm at an advantage because we did staffing. So, right, and we still do staffing. Valiant Staffing is still in business and thriving. So we're very, very good at character-based screenings, doing all the onboarding pieces of background checks and, you know, e-verifies and all the check boxes. Then there's a lot in this industry that we have to check off, and then being able to ask those questions and do an interview in person or virtually and really ask the right questions to make sure that they are a good fit for our company. Now, assigning them to a client, that's where we have to kind of get like, well,
That's
you have to
another-
not only have the personality, but you have to have the skill set. What if this person has Parkinson's? What if they have Lewy body? What if they have Alzheimer's and it's in the middle to advanced stages?
Yeah.
I need a caregiver who's experienced with that. I can't send in somebody who's not experienced, even though their character might fit perfectly with the client. Because the client's into gardening, oh my gosh, she's into gardening, they're gonna love it, they still garden together, but she doesn't have the experience necessary to be able to care for her properly because she doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanna make sure that we're matching them with the right caregiver, with prioritizing what's more important. Like, if they have MS, right, or Lewy body, or depending on how far along they are in that, we want to make sure we have a caregiver who's experienced with that more so than maybe the perfect character match, right?
Yeah, that's important. Okay, so yeah, stuff.
So we're really good at just vetting our candidates.
I think that's a big part of
yeah.
this industry, and I think as people try to assess home care agencies, one question should be, you know, how are their hiring practices?
Yes.
Don't just take anybody from Craigslist or Facebook. Yeah.
No, we do a full phone interview first, then we schedule a virtual or in person, depending on where they're at, and then we do that, and then we're still deciding.
And there's
whether
matching.
we're going to bring them on board.
Yeah, and is there matching between your client and your staff?
We're always
or you, meaning for one client can see 2 or 3 staffs before they become permanent with them.
Yeah, so there's a trial. I mean, we're not always going to hit the bullseye.
Yeah,
right?
makes sense.
But it's kind of like psychotherapists. When you go to a therapist, you may have to go through 2 or 3 before you find the right one that fits you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same, but usually we're really good about it. I mean, once I've met with them, I already get a good feeling. And then my assistant operations manager, who's in charge of all the scheduling and all of the caregivers and the onboarding process, she then meets with them the first visit and she gets a good feeling too. And if she feels like the caregiver that she's thinking about isn't going to be the fit, she'll find the one that is. So we definitely, we take that into consideration because we want to try and keep the same caregiver team with that client as much as humanly possible. And that's for continuity of care. Nobody wants to keep explaining the same thing over and over again. And I don't want caregivers going in and not knowing what they're doing. And then also for consistency, right, and safety. To having different people in your home all the time is not a good idea. So we want to make sure that we're providing that. And also, when there is a change of caregiver, when it has to happen, we go in there and we train the new girl. And we introduce them to the family. And we make sure that the family's not the one that has to reiterate everything. We're doing that because we know the client and we know what's on the plan of care and we know what needs, you know, what this person needs.
Perfect transition. Now, let's talk about the care plan and how does that arises. So when a family starts to see, okay, my parents start needing some help, do they reach out to you and you guys put together a care plan, or how is that process work?
They do. They'll usually call and then we'll get an alert saying that, hey, there's somebody who's interested in home care, so give them a call. So we'll call them. And then we have a really long conversation on the phone just to find out if I can provide the scope of care that they're looking for. So they need to be able to stand and bear weight. They have to be able to pivot their body when they're turning. You know, they have to assist us to some capacity when they're getting up out of a chair and so forth. So if they don't fall under certain criteria, we have to refer that out. And then we just kind of go from there. We just make sure that we can provide the services and ask them a bunch of questions. And then if the conversation leads to an in-home assessment, then we go in and we do a safety assessment and we sit down and we start diving into that plan of care and the cost.
Yeah.
Those are the two main things that we need to do when we're in the home. And then the safety assessment as well. So that's the
So safety assessment, care plan, and cost. These are the big three topics that you engage with.
And the care plan is just like, okay, what do you want us doing when more caregivers are here, right?
Yeah.
What is the top main things that you need help with, or that you think that your loved one needs watchful oversight on, or actually has to have done for them because it's beyond their capacity anymore. But we like to adapt the care plans for, what is needed right now. And so they're reassessed every 6 months or even more often if necessary. So if there's a hospitalization or something happens, then we have to look at that plan of care.
And do you work in tandem with other agencies that provide medical support, or that medical assistance comes from their doctors and home care medical support?
A lot of times it just depends on the situation. If it's something where they were in the hospital, then usually their insurance will help them at home, or they can go to outpatient services for like physical therapy or occupational therapy or whatever they need after that hospitalization or even after rehab. So we collaborate with them. But we can work with other agencies as well and share a client. I have heard of other agencies that have done that. I haven't done it myself yet, but I'm very open to the idea because they may be able to do medication, disperse the medication, dispense it, and give them the meds, and then we can kind of fill in on all the other personal care and companion care.
Got it. Okay, so we talk about care plan, safety assessment. What are some of the things that families should be aware for safety at home?
Okay, carpets.
So no carpets.
No. They can have carpets, but like the ones that are like an area carpet, right? Especially if you're on wood floor, we don't want a lot of those. That can be a slip hazard. So especially if your loved one is sloughing their feet and they kind of drag it along the floor, you do not want loose rugs or areas like that. In the bathroom, it needs to be no slip. Mats, we usually recommend not the high pile ones, but like the very low, kind of like a utility mat feeling, or and it doesn't slip at all. And then inside the shower or tub, it needs to have no slip. Those little suction things are really good no slip. Don't go cheap. Really invest the money, because when they stand up or if they're sitting down and they move their feet and it pushes the mat and the bottom of the tub, that is not going to be sufficient. It needs to be staying in place. Bars, holding on to things as they climb in and step into, by the toilets, they need to have those bars. Now, there's some fire departments that will actually come in and install those for no charge. So check with your fire department, your local fire department. Every department is different, but they can do a free home safety assessment if you're okay with that. They look at your smoke alarms, detectors.
The fire department does a free safety assessment for seniors. Oh, that's a great.
To help with the risks, to mitigate any risks for fall or injury, and safety, just getting if there's an emergency, right?
Yes.
The
other one that I have heard too is good lighting, because as you're getting older, your eyes are becoming weaker. It's hard to see, so good lighting.
Good lighting is very important too. Yes, I concur with that.
Okay, that's awesome. So cover a little bit about care plan, cover about safety assessment. Now cost. How do people should think about cost? Because this is not typically covered by Medicare. So typically home care agencies that are not medical are private pay. So meaning the person or the family covers the cost. So how should families think about cost? When should they start budgeting, and how they cover this cost, because they can add up pretty quickly?
Start early. Start early.
What does early mean? Early
means
like us right now?
So before the crisis happens, before the emergency happens, before the fall happens, right? Like you see the declination of your loved one. and like you're with your mom, you kind of already see and you know. So like, how do I plan that? Well, maybe you look at long-term care insurance, right? Maybe you just start putting a little bit of money aside in a bank, in a money market or something where you can build a little interest, but you just start budgeting some money. Even having us there once or twice a week for a few hours, it will make a difference down the road. You'll be amazed. So definitely hitting that early, thinking about things early, before the crisis happens. Because once the crisis happens, then the stress levels are really high. The anxiety is high. It's kind of like I gotta do something now, or my choices are very limited because we've had this crisis happen.
Yeah.
When you do it early and you start figuring out what your options are, you start, you have the capacity, you have the bandwidth to do that. Nothing's urgent yet, and you can really take your time with it and kind of like really get a strategic plan together on how you're going to take care of your loved one at home for a long-term period. And it really is about looking at this as an investment. It's an investment into having peace of mind and dignity and making sure that your loved one's taken care of.
Yeah, it's crazy how we go back, as we age, we go back to being dependent of our loved ones. When we were little babies, we're dependent of our parents. And now when we're old, go back to wearing diapers.
I know, right?
Depend on our kids, and it's part of our natural journey, and we all go through it. We all go through it. Now, how should people think about the price range of what people typically home care agencies go around the country?
Here's the thing, I can give you a range, right? I can give you a range of about $1,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on what your functional limitations are, how much time you want us there, what we're actually doing. If it's a lot of bathing, toileting, incontinence, that's going to be a little bit more than someone who just needs us to sit there with them and visit and play games, right? Or take them for a walk. Take care of the dog, right? It really does matter, like, what do you want us to do? How long do you want us to be there? And what is the diagnosis and functional limitations of your loved one? Your mom is where she's at now. You're doing all of the early work now, but when the time comes, you don't know what her functional limitation is going to truly be at that moment. So to figure out your cost on it, you kind of just got to kind of go for the higher end and then just kind of figure it out once it comes up, and you'll have to start really getting serious about which agency you want to use and what those fees look like. Normal rule of thumb is the longer you have us there per visit, the less it is going to be per hour. Maybe live-in might be an option. I mean, it really just depends on the functional limitations. Like I said,
of course.
It's really needs-based. It's very needs-based, and everybody's different.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, is there any tax benefits or to the payment? So for kids right now, a health savings account or family accounts have tax benefits where you can put money aside and there's no tax. Is there any tax benefits?
I don't know if you can use HSA or what's the other account called? Not HSA, but there's another account. And I think it depends on what the benefit, what the actual benefits say.
Yeah.
Are you able to use that for in-home services for long-term care? I don't know.
For your family, not for you,
yeah.
right? So
it's like, I don't know if it'll work.
You gotta bring somebody who knows taxes.
You should, because that's not my forte. I don't know.
No. I was just curious. Okay, so that was great. That was really good. Cover care plan, cover safety, and costs and budgeting. Okay, so once you're gonna need home care, and you have different options, right? There's so many franchises that operate in your area. There's also independent home care agencies like Valiant. How should you evaluate, as a family, what advice do you have for families to think about how to choose the right one for your loved one?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the most important thing for families is that they're reliable. The person that's caring for their loved one is reliable, that they're dependable, that their loved one is safe when they're under the attendance of that person, and that they can trust them to some extent. And I think that, there's questions that should be asked during those screening processes. We've talked about some of them, but like, how do they handle after-hour emergencies? How is your communication? You're licensed, are you insured as an agency, which we are.
Shouldn't every agency be insured?
Yeah, they should, except
they
for
should.
But there are agencies that do 1099, right? So they actually do independent contractors for their caregivers, so they don't have to carry that insurance. The caregiver has to carry their own insurance. Now they might have to carry some form, but if I'm 1099ing you,
that's a big question to us. Are the caregivers 1099 or employees, and how they handle insurance?
I always tell that on the first call. If I leave a message, it's in my text message. It's like, hey, we hire all of our caregivers. They are W-2. They're fully insured. They're fully vetted in. We do a background check on every single one. I don't let anyone work for me unless they're completely clean on their background. I don't care if they were 19 or 18 or if they were just 7 years ago and it was something, it has to be clean. I don't want anything on there.
And references, I assume, right?
Oh,
so
yes.
you gotta ask for references
we can ask
from
for
other
references.
families.
We do verification of employment. So pay stub, show me something that says that you worked at the places that you said you worked at. Calling someone.
No, for the families to ask you for references of other families you care.
Oh yes, they can ask us for references. Yeah, for sure. If they want those references. I think Google reviews too is good, so I'm always pushing for those to get our clients to give us some reviews.
And make sure they're not AI generated or paid.
Right, I think they're getting really good about that now. And you have to be legit to put a review up there now.
Good to know. So just to recap, right? To evaluating home care agencies, you gotta make sure they're insured or how they're covering the insurance. If their caregivers are full-time employees or 1099, assess reliability, dependability, how they handle safety, and on your engagement with them, build trust, and always ask for references.
And also, how do they replace the caregivers or rotating caregivers? Like, how do they assign caregivers to care for your loved one? I think that's important to know too.
Okay, so I think this has been pretty great conversation and covering many topics from what a home care agency does, typical services they provide, like care plan, safety plan, budgeting, how to assess one.
I think one thing I would like to, we're going to get to this, but how do you know, what are some of the early warning signs that somebody needs to have some help at home?
Oh yeah, let's cover that. Early signs of how families know your loved one needs help at home.
Right. And so a couple that I looked up here was like unopened bills, not paying the bills, unopened mail. The mail's been sitting there, they're not even checking it anymore. They're not paying the bills on time or paying them at all. And you're finding out about this as a child or a grandchild, right? Like, hey, mom, why haven't you paid your bills? What's going on, right? They're not showering as often as they need to or as they used to. And their appearance is kind of going down. They're not brushing their hair. Maybe they're not shaving. So you're noticing these things. And maybe when you're asking, they're telling you, no, I just took a shower this morning or just before you got here, and you go to the bathroom and it's completely bone dry. There's no water evidence at all. So those are some signs that, hey, we might need to have somebody come and help and just kind of spend time, a little more time here to see what's really going on and keep an eye on things. They're missing their medications, they're missing their meals, we talked about that. Use unexplained bruises, some marks on them, you're not like, where did you get that? How did that happen, right? If they are confused or they forget with you while you're talking with them or while you're with them, that's a sign that something's going on. And also when they start withdrawing from some of their social activities, especially if it's something they've been doing for a very long time, you kind of want to ask some questions to find out what's going on there. But always with empathy, always with respect. And we don't want to make our parents feel like, or any of our loved ones feel like they're incompetent and they're not able to take care of themselves, because I think that's the one biggest pushback that we get is, I don't need any help. I'm fine. I've been doing this for 80 years. I know what I'm doing. Okay, well, that is true, except that we need to get you a shower today. I'm here as a caregiver. Your daughter wants to make sure someone's here to watchfully oversight while you're in there, and I don't. they don't need, so we just have to convince them, redirect them, sometimes it comes down like, I'll get you some dessert if you can go in there and take a shower.
I'm telling you, we become children again.
It's important to have her doing the shower when we're there, right? Yes. It doesn't do any good for us to do the shower when we're not there, because she had fallen out of the shower before, so the family was very concerned about that, and they wanted to have somebody there.
So early signs of someone needing help at home: not opening the mail, not paying bills, and you see a pile of bills on the kitchen table, not showering, or the prints starts deteriorating, medications or meals not taken, unexpected bruises. When you engage with them, they're starting to show signs of confusion and withdrawing from typical social activities that they have done. So keep those signs in mind. Okay, Judi, this has been great. Thank you very much. Yes, very eye-opening. And now tell us how, if people are interested in connecting with you,
sure.
how do you get in contact with you?
So you can go to our website. It's www.valianthomecareprofessionals.com.
And we'll put the link.
Okay, yeah, great. You can call me directly too, or you can call our office. It's 720-449-8449, and it gets forwarded to me on my cell phone. So our phones are always answered.
And where do you operate?
We operate in Golden. So our headquarters are in Golden. My executive suite is there, and then we have another suite for the 801.
Okay, and then your client base is?
It's all within the counties of Jefferson, Boulder, Broomfield, Adams, Denver, Arapahoe, Douglas, Clear Creek, Tailor. So really Jefferson County and any county that touches the border of Jefferson County.
Okay, there we go. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and we hope that this has really been valuable to all of you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
It was a pleasure.